is a foggy, rainy day in Atlanta today, and it is dreary outside. It's very dark inside my apartment, and I've got to be honest, I almost didn't make or film this video because I was like, oh my gosh, the lighting is gonna be bad. It's just gonna be dreary vibes. But we're not gonna let external circumstances out of our control dictate our entire next year. Because we've got stuff to do today. We've got to plan for 2025. But first, let me be honest for a second about how I usually feel about New Year's and New Year's goals and New Year's resolutions. I think for a while I honestly was a little indifferent, or if I wanted to make a New Year's goal or something, it was just something that I would put in my head, never write it down, never speak it to anybody, just something that I was like, oh yeah, sure, this will be my one New Year's goal. Or I also had a little phase, a little period where I just kind of ignored it altogether. I was like, that's silly. But it wasn't until last year, the beginning of 2024, I didn't even technically do it before the new year. But I, for the first time, set goals for myself, and I made a vision board for myself. I think it was actually incredibly helpful for me. And so that's what I want to do with y'all today. Now, here's the thing. I like to keep it low stakes, low pressure, mid pressure, low to mid pressure. I think the things that I did accomplish this year are very much so in part due to the fact that I set these goals at the beginning of 2024 for myself. And when I set those goals, I also tried to set in motion a few actionable steps towards each one of my goals. And I think that that is definitely kind of one of the big major reasons that I was able to cross off some of the things on my list. So we're gonna briefly go through my goals and vision board from 2024 because I didn't actually make a video for that or anything. It was just a couple days into January 2024. I feel like I saw someone else make a video about goals and vision boards and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it. That looks fun. And I did, and I have no regrets. We will briefly touch on that. And then we're gonna set some goals and intentions for 2025 together. And then at the very end, we'll make a vision board. It's gonna be fun. I really liked making a little vision board last year. I had never made a vision board for anything ever in my life. Oh my gosh, hold on, throwback. I'm kind of sometimes the worst at introducing myself, but if you're new here, hi, my name is Camilla and I live in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're gonna go into my Notion for this first little bit. I'm not a huge Notion user. I keep trying to use it more, but I just need to learn the interface of it more. I feel like you can make such cool pages with it. It could be a really good resource for just planning and organization. So I would like to try to use it more. But this is where I kept my little bit of 2024 goals, resolutions, intentions. So we'll go through them. Let's start with the stuff that I don't think I can totally tick off my list for myself. The first one, staying consistent with YouTube. I did not stay nearly as consistent as I wanted to. I work in the film industry as a prop buyer, and I bring that up because it just was even harder than I anticipated it to be with my full-time prop job. I ended up doing 2 shows full-time this year. When I'm on a show full-time, it's pretty time-consuming and everything, and due to some other things that I was working on while I was on the show, which we'll actually be getting to and my goals for last year. Due to that as well, between a couple of different things, I was not able to put my full efforts into this YouTube channel. However, if you saw the last video that I published, I actually less than 2 months ago, started a second YouTube channel. That's a completely different niche and genre, which I kind of talk about a tiny bit more in my previous video. So I feel like that almost kind of balances it out. In my mind, in a way. As with every goal, there's some give and there's some take and there's some wiggle room, but I can't say that I did that at all. My next goal, which was a weird way to word it, sort of, but stay active throughout the chaos, because I knew I was about to hop onto a new TV show full time, and I knew it was going to be really time consuming. My job in itself, especially when I am on set, it can be very active, so I do get like a lot of activity throughout the day, but I was just wanting to be more consistent on the weekdays, whether that was doing workouts at home or going to my apartment gym or going somewhere else or going on a walk. And I'm definitely better at being pretty active on the weekends than I am on the weekdays when I'm on a film job. So continue to travel. I did travel a tiny bit this year, but it wasn't the actual goals that I had set for myself, which you can actually see here as well. I wanted to do one bigger trip out of the country and then one national park trip in the US, and I didn't actually do either of those trips. I did some like smaller, shorter trips. So there definitely was some travel this year, just not the like intentional planned travel that I wanted to try to keep up. I really had some like momentum after going to Antarctica, and Antarctica was at the end of 2023. And if you're curious at all, I've made a decent few videos on my Antarctica trip and about it and everything. So you can check those out if you're like, what the heck is she talking about? I just really wanted to try to make a point to continue like exploring the world, exploring nature, and I didn't do that as much as I wanted to. So anyway, these three definitely are intentions to carry over into the next year. I'm already talking about each topic way longer than I need to be discussing them, I realize. But it is also valuable to kind of dive into what happened and why do you think you were able to accomplish some of those things, or why do you think that didn't end up happening? And it's totally fine either way, but maybe it is okay that I'm rambling on about some of these things, because I'm kind of deconstructing in my brain, why didn't some of this end up happening? What could I take into the new year so that maybe I can at least get closer to some of these goals, so that I can stay a little bit more on par with some of these intentions. Things that I did tick off for myself. Number one, and what I was like most excited about and wanting to do this past year, was make 2 music videos, which did end up happening. I was able to produce a music video and conceptualize and direct a music video. So those were 2 huge accomplishments, and something that I had no idea how I would end up accomplishing that by the end of the year. When it was this time last January, I had no idea that either of these 2 projects were going to happen. So that was just something that I was really, really happy and proud of, especially the one that I was able to like conceptualize and direct. And I was working on them both at the same time for about 5 to 6 months out of this year. Not only was I working the film job, but I was heading up 2 music videos at the same time. I think that that is the actual reason that YouTube fell off a decent bit. I made a goal to put more effort into friendships. I kind of also wanted to like make new friends, meet new people and everything. And I do feel like I was able to do that. I definitely made some new friends this past year, and also became a lot closer with people that I wasn't even expecting to, but I just felt a lot more like fulfilled in the friendship department this past year. And then I wanted to embrace my fashion style ethically. And I did tick it off. I don't think that I've fully like embraced my own fashion style completely, but I feel like any fashion purchase that I made, any clothing purchase, was really intentional. And I made a huge effort to mostly, if I was wanting new stuff, to mostly get it secondhand, get it from a thrift store or a vintage store or something along those lines. Actually, I wasn't even thinking about that, but I now have 2 cat sweaters, so that's kind of crazy. But I found this like absolutely adorable cat sweater at a vintage market. It has cat buttons, but I felt really happy and fulfilled with the clothing that I did end up buying this year, because definitely at least 60 to 70% of it was secondhand stuff. That was kind of my thought process going into what that goal means. Embrace my fashion style ethically. Anything that I did buy new, I let myself think about it for like over a month, and then I would like wait for an actual sale to happen and stuff. But I really didn't buy too many new clothes this year. I also, which was something different, I made a word of the year, which is also something that I hadn't done before. That word was momentum, and I really liked the concept, the idea of having a word as well. So I have some ideas for a potential word for next year. I really liked that as my word, and I think that that was what I really ended up doing in 2024, and probably because I really kept reminding myself of that word and that intention. I just wanted any creative project and pursuit that I was working on, I was really wanting to carry that like excitement and that energy into the next thing, not allow myself to like lose momentum. And I think I really did accomplish that. We'll set a word for next year as well. But okay, here is last year's vision board, and I really liked it a lot overall. Wait, I could have sworn that one of my goals for last year was like read 6 books or something like that, but that was not on that list. But I am almost positive I set a reading goal for myself that I did not accomplish at all, because that is why there's this photo of books here. We'll need to look into that and evaluate that. But I really liked the overall idea of this vision board and everything. Basically for every goal I set, I put at least 1 or 2 like photos to kind of help manifest that, and then some quotes that I really like. I really love them all, but I especially love the "we cannot become what we want by remaining what we are" quote. I just think that that's a really good line, y'all. But I think that that's something that I always kind of have to remind myself. People hanging out and painting, and that was to represent friendship, and some travel photos of Glacier National Park and Copenhagen. Anyway, the only thing that I think I want to change going into next year when I make this vision board later today, I think I want to at least try to avoid having a photo with other people in it. I just think that it would be helpful in fully like visualizing things for myself and manifesting it for myself to not have a photo of like someone else doing that thing. I mean, we'll have to play with the perspectives of photos and everything, but yeah, if that makes any sense at all. That was everything from 2024. I want these intentions to feel realistic, somewhat attainable. Like I still, want to shoot high for myself, but I've got to keep it somewhat realistic, especially with what I do know is going to be coming up in the next year. Realistic, attainable, simple, and just not overwhelming. I ended up just writing it in a notebook because I think I'll transfer it later, but I just want to spend some time trying to figure out how to use Notion in a little bit of a better way. But I do have everything split into categories, and I think for each category I have one goal and then maybe 1 or 2 like intentions. Any goal is like something concrete, something that is like, I want to go to the park. Something that is like, it's either a yes or a no. Did I do that or did I not? And then intentions, in my mind at least, are maybe something that I want to continue doing or just something that I want to do better, but it's not so black and white. It's more of a gray area. I think I'm over explaining. But if we're setting a goal, I'm also going to give myself at least 1 or a few actionable steps. I'm not just gonna set a goal and say, good luck, girl. I'm gonna set a goal and then start putting a plan into place into how I'm actually going to get to that spot. Personal, health, career, finance, and relationships. And what I think I want my word of 2025 to be, I brainstormed it a little, as you can see from this. I want my word of 2025 to be evolve. I also put grow, bloom, blossom, change. Evolve just resonates the most with me. I'm setting that as my word because I have such a hard time going out of my comfort zone or embracing any kind of like change or shifting things. I do honestly, genuinely believe that it can be contributed to the fact that I'm a Taurus. Not to blame it on being a Taurus. I do think that as a Taurus, my tendency is to stay safe. Don't do too much that's gonna shift the status quo of my life or whatever. I want to start pushing back against that a little bit because actually, like that quote that was on the vision board along the lines of, how do you ever expect things to be any different if you're just doing the same thing every day? Isn't that also the definition of insanity or something? Anyway, 2025, evolve. Okay, let's get into it. In the personal category, I want to read 2 whole books this year. Yeah, I know. It's a little pathetic of a goal. I have to set it low for myself because I got in a reading rut last year. I was reading okay the years before, 3 or 4 books a year, but always reading something. I know there's people that read 3, 4 books a month, or at least 1 book a month. That's not me. I know what's practical for myself, and a good goal for myself is to do 2 books. Now, the actionable step for that is actually something more practical, because I know that the next show I'm gonna be working on, I need to read a book for it. So that's gonna be one of my books, and I have to do it. Well, I don't actually have to, but it definitely would be beneficial to me, I'm sure, to read the book that the show that I'm going to be working on is based off of. Now, my other intention and personal is that I want to continue to crochet to some degree, whether that means I complete one project of something throughout the whole year or multiple. Either one is fine. I just want to slowly continue that and just continue having that as a hobby. I have one other personal goal that I'm keeping to myself, keeping close to my chest for this one, but maybe at the end of next year, maybe I'll let you know what it was if it ends up happening. In the health category, my goal is to increase my activity levels. Maybe I should make that a little bit more of a solid, solidified thing. My actionable step for that actually is a little bit more solid. I am planning to re-download my little ClassPass app and use that for the month of January. Honestly, it's something that I'm excited for because I really like ClassPass for the fact that you can like go to different classes and stuff. I'm going to make it a goal to go to 2 different classes a week. Probably not more than that because then it would just get probably a little too expensive. But just do that just to kind of like make me a little bit more excited about doing different kinds of activity and stuff. That is my actionable step, and then on other days, getting in some activity some other kind of way. Okay, career-wise, my goal is to direct 1 independent project, whether that's a music video or a short film, a creative shoot, a commercial, or a spec commercial. I know that with the other things I'm gonna have going on in the next year, just completing 1 directing project is a good goal for myself. If it becomes more, then that is amazing and exciting, but 1 is my goal, especially because as of right now, I have no idea what that is going to be. And my actionable step for that is that by the end of January, I want to have at least 1 short film outline and 1 short film rough draft, even if it's a rough draft. Some ideas that I've been marinating on, I want to expand on both of them more in those different kinds of ways. Then I have kind of like some YouTube goals for both this channel and my other channel. I'm gonna keep those ones to myself as well. Okay, finance. I have 1 big goal, which is that at some point in the year, I would love to have, what would it be, a 5-figure month? I would love to try to make, after tax, 10K in a month. It kind of feels weird making a financial goal like that, but I'm just becoming more and more of the mindset that if I don't actually make a goal, even if it feels kind of silly to say, I want to try to make $10,000 in a month, how can I expect that to happen if I'm not even trying to will it into existence, if I'm not trying to make steps to get myself there? And then I have a few intentions, financial related intentions, keep to myself as well. And then lastly, for relationships, I want to do 1 to 2 friend trips because most of my close friends I don't live near, which is sad. Whether it's to make a trip to visit a friend or we plan a trip together to go somewhere else where neither of us live. And then these last 2, I guess I didn't actually put super specific actionable steps for them. Honestly, I think that because I know these other goals, I'm gonna be going for headstrong starting today, starting January 1st. I don't necessarily want to be focusing on all of these goals so hard as soon as January comes because we have the whole year for these goals. So I think that that's the other thing that I want to kind of emphasize, and I want to do a better job of coming back to my goals every month and revisiting them and seeing how I can adjust my personal health and career. I will focus on those a little bit more at the beginning of the year, and then I will have my financial and relationship goals in mind, but revisit them, and if they're not happening, then take more actionable steps towards them. And we'll see, you know, I'm a guinea pig, so we'll see if that is actually a good way for me and my brain and the way that I work, or if I should have tried to take more action all at once. But I think that not overwhelming the system and keeping things a little bit more bite-sized, I think that that is a way for me to sustain these goals and intentions. Oh my gosh, I feel like I talked about that for forever. That is our goal setting portion of this video. Let's get into making a vision board. Okay, it's also gotten beautiful outside. It is blue skies, white fluffy clouds, and so that's exciting as well, that it's not nearly as dreary anymore. It's a comforting feeling. I've got my laptop back out. I had started to pin a few things on Pinterest. I haven't even necessarily talked through this a little bit, but the way that I made this vision board last year, again, the only vision board that I've made, go through Pinterest based off of my goals. Also, that kind of helped guide me in the direction of like photos that I wanted to search for, at least for some of them. And as I searched for some of those images and like pinned them to a certain board, then I began to find more and more images that I liked. I think I just stumbled upon the quotes and stuff that I liked from my previous board and everything. So that's kind of how that all came to fruition. I transferred the photos and everything into Canva. So right now I'm gonna pin a few more things on my Pinterest. I'll bring you along with me. Get comfy, get cozy, and let's do it. Oh, hi, Peanut. Our friend has finally joined us.
It's nice of you to finally make an appearance, my friend. Yay!
Okay, I'm gonna go back through what I have pinned, see what I like, and then see what I want to improve on. This photo is so funny, but manifestation, baby. I want to be careful with some of these like set photos because something like this is what I see on set for my day-to-day type of job when I'm prop buying. I'm trying to figure out how to like specifically convey, I'm working towards, I'm manifesting, I'm becoming a director, and it's that I'm putting onto this board and not just like a generic film set that I see anyway when I'm working, if that makes sense. Okay, looking back through, I think it's gonna be a little bit of a different vibe, a different color scheme than last year to represent me wanting to increase my activity levels. I had in my head, I had forgotten to write it down and mention it, but one of the other main ways planning and hoping to do that was play more tennis and pickleball, which I played a decent bit this past year, but I definitely want to ramp it up, like at least once a week would be like super ideal, but that might be a big ask sometimes, you know. I think I want to do something in that department. Okay, let's look at it now. Here's what we have currently for a little 2025 vision board. So I have something to represent activity, fitness, friendship, friend trips that I'm kind of hoping for, some money photos, I have some travel, filmmaking photos, a decent bit of quotes that I was liking, graphics and things. So let's go to Canva. I want to make this to be my laptop wallpaper, my desktop wallpaper. So I'm just gonna use their little template that they have for that. Thank you, Canva. I'm gonna start pulling my favorite images over from the Pinterest, and we will go from there. I liked this for my photo to represent books because it doesn't have a stack of 20 plus books in it. It's just closer to what my actual goal is, which is 2. I love the aesthetic, I love the colors. I own a disco ball planter. So that seems truest to me. Okay, I'm not gonna explain everything. I'm just gonna continue to throw stuff onto this and then we'll modify it as we go. That's funny. I totally just edited this so that it looks like it's mine. I also, as you can probably tell, like I find that I like to kind of crop some of the images around and stuff, just do different things so that it fits in a way that I like. Even if I liked an image, I don't have to use the whole thing. So I find that helpful. I'm actually really liking this. I was trying to like add something else to it, but this is kind of, this might be my vibe. This might be my vision board. Let's see what it would look like if I wrote my word of the year. This, evolve. I don't know. What do y'all think? That's not it. That's not the vibe, I don't think. Maybe there's a version of it like that though, you know? Maybe that's an option. Whenever I'm making anything on Canva, even a thumbnail, if I'm feeling unsure about something, I just go ahead and duplicate the version that I would like to come back to, and then I'll keep editing on what I was working on. I want to add a layer of just a color. Okay, a different thing that I want to try, a little filter almost over everything so that it has a little bit of the same tint or feeling. And by filter, I just mean literally, as you can tell, I just put a square over. I grabbed it from the elements section, shapes, put a square down. Now I'm gonna play around with the color. Let's put the transparency at like 30 to start. I love green, but I don't know if green is the right. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Maybe that. Ooh, that's fun. I'm just gonna play around with this for a minute and then we'll come to a conclusion. Oh, I like this too. Okay, why do I really like all of these? This is how different just a little filter can make these look. Like, look. Okay, so this is like a darker green. I think these are all at 30% also. Then we have this like brown, a little maroonish brown, or you can make it lighter. Like those are deep filters, but then this is a light color filter. And I really like them all. And I guess that's honestly quite acceptable because I can change it out whenever I want to. Honestly, I think I'm gonna put this darker green to like, let's do 22. We'll do 22. And I think this is the one I'm gonna start with. I really like this brown as well, but I love green. I'm drawn to green. I'm gonna go with the green, at least to start. Ah! That is my 2025 vision board. And I can always come back to it and just grab a new filter, change it up if I ever want to throughout the year. But I'm gonna make this my desktop background. I also might even translate it to a different version, to a phone background version perhaps. I might try to do that. That might be fun. Okay, but yeah, there we have it. That's my little vision board. And that also kind of brings us close to a close for this video, for our goal setting and our vision boarding. I really liked this past year having it as the background on my computer. I use my computer every day when I'm working and everything. I really like it because anytime I look at it, It reminds me of things that I'm working towards for the year. It's just a really great way to visualize your goals and aspirations. So yeah, I feel really happy with that. I like this one a lot. I think it's very cutie. Anyway, I guess that'll be it for this video. I guess we've done a little bit of a reset and a little bit of a prep for 2025. Here are my little 2 cents, my little reminders. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Number 1. Number 2, it's never too late to start. It can be the middle of January, it can be the end of January, it can be July, and you can decide that you want to reset yourself for the year. You want to look at your goals, your intentions, your vision board, whatever it might be, and change things up. Do things differently. Just know that if you feel some sort of immense New Year's pressure looming over you, you won't feel like this forever. This is actually, I think, the most relaxed I've ever felt going into a new year, while also feeling like ready. I wish that same energy for you. I wish that same energy upon you. It's never too late for a reset. It's never too late to try to start again. It's never too late to start over. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for your support this year. We are a small but mighty channel, and I appreciate anyone who does watch these videos. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next year. I will see you in 2025. Bye.